The morning news crackled over battered radios across Pyongyang, echoing through cramped apartments and silent hallways. In homes where every word is weighed with caution, families gathered around their aging radios, listening intently for any hint of change or danger. The air was thick with anticipation, as if everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the next piece of news that could alter their lives. "A major illegal trading network dismantled by People's Security Forces last night," shouted the announcer, his voice sharp and triumphant. The broadcast was filled with the usual bravado, painting the operation as a victory for the state and a warning to all who might dare defy the rules. The scene just hours before was chaotic. Sirens blared through the narrow alleys, their wails bouncing off concrete walls as uniformed officers stormed a hidden warehouse near the city's edge. The operation was swift and merciless, a show of force meant to remind everyone who truly holds power in the city. Dozens of traders, young and old, were dragged outside into the harsh glare of floodlights. Some pleaded desperately for mercy, others tried to run, but the officers were ruthless, their faces set and unyielding. The street erupted in chaos, shouts and cries echoing into the night. Boxes burst open, spilling contraband, rice, medicine, and memory sticks from China, across the cold, concrete floor. Officers rifled through the goods, searching for evidence of foreign influence, their gloved hands tossing aside precious supplies that could mean survival for many. Families watched from the shadows, faces pale with fear and uncertainty. Behind curtains and in darkened doorways, neighbors whispered, terrified that someone they knew might be among the arrested, or that their own secrets might soon be discovered. Whispers spread quickly. Who was caught? What will happen now? In a society where trust is rare and suspicion is everywhere, rumors become lifelines, and every new piece of information is shared in hushed tones, fueling both hope and dread. In North Korea, raids like these are not rare, but they always send shockwaves through the community. Every arrest is a warning, a reminder that the eyes of the state are always watching, and that no one is truly safe from suspicion. Yet, behind the terror, the black market only grows stronger, fed by the needs and hopes of a struggling nation. For many, these underground networks are the only way to survive, providing food, medicine, and a fragile sense of connection to the outside world. This was more than a police operation. It was a glimpse into the world where survival, secrecy, and suspicion meet, a world where every transaction is a risk, and every relationship is shadowed by fear. In these tense moments, the true depth of North Korea's shadow economy is revealed. A billion-dollar system that thrives in darkness, always one step ahead of the law. As the city settles back into uneasy silence, Wimdi stendo by can be, Andenji dingdi winstopur, Windy cycle ban, Karnidin dating, Kurstaten, Weujidi goes, and the struggle for survival goes on, hidden in the shadows of Pyongyang. In North Korea, the black market is known as the Jangmadang, a word that literally means market grounds. But in reality, it's much more than just a place to buy and sell. It's not just a few shady deals happening in the shadows or back alleys. Instead, it's a vast, intricate web of unofficial trading, stretching across every city, town, and rural village in the country. Here, almost anything can be bought or sold. Food, clothes, electronics, and even forbidden foreign films or South Korean dramas smuggled in from abroad. The black market operates outside the state's control, but it's not always hidden in the shadows. In fact, in many towns, these markets are out in the open, bustling with activity. In many places, it has become the heart of local life, where families gather, neighbors meet, and communities connect. The roots of the Jangmadang run deep, stretching back to the famine of the 1990s, when the government's food distribution system collapsed. When the state system fails to provide, people create their own path, relying on each other to survive. These markets started small, as desperate people quietly exchanged food or household goods just to get by. Over time, they grew into bustling centers of commerce, sometimes even bigger and busier than the official state-run stores. The government tries to control what's sold and who is allowed to sell it, often sending officials to inspect or shut down stalls. But the black market is slippery and resilient, constantly changing shape and adapting whenever officials crack down. For millions of ordinary North Koreans, it's the only place to find what they need to survive, whether it's rice, medicine, or even a simple bar of soap. Without the Jangmadang, daily life in North Korea would grind to a halt, leaving families with nowhere to turn for the essentials they depend on. The seeds of North Korea's black market were planted during the 1990s famine. Back then, the government's food distribution system collapsed, people starved. The only way to survive was to trade anything with anyone. At first, this was dangerous. Trading outside the state's plan was a crime, but hunger is a powerful force. Women especially became the lifeblood of these new markets. They risked their lives to barter rice, corn, or homemade goods. Sometimes, they traded soup made from grass or bark. Each transaction was an act of defiance, a small step out of the government's shadow. As famine faded, the markets stayed. They grew stronger, more organized. By the 2000s, the black market was everywhere, from big cities to tiny villages near the Chinese border. Today it's a parallel economy, worth billions, shaping the daily lives of ordinary North Koreans. For most North Koreans, the black market is not a choice. It's a lifeline, a daily reality that shapes their survival. In a country where official options are limited, these markets pulse with quiet determination, offering a fragile sense of hope. The government's rationing rarely covers all their needs. Shelves in state-run stores often sit empty, and the monthly food rations are never enough to feed a family. In the Jangmadang, the unofficial markets, people buy rice and other essentials when the state can't deliver. These markets have become the backbone of daily life, filling the gaps left by the government. Here they search for warm clothes to survive the harsh winters, soap to keep clean, and other basic necessities that are otherwise out of reach. Medicine for the sick is bought quietly, often at great risk, because official pharmacies are empty or too expensive for most. Without the market, families would face cold, hunger, and disease. The Jangmadang is the thin line between survival and despair. Take the story of Mrs. Kim, a mother in Chongjin, who represents countless others struggling to provide for their families. Each morning, she carefully packs a hidden basket of homegrown vegetables, wrapping them in cloth to avoid suspicion. She slips into the market, head down, eyes alert for any sign of trouble, blending into the crowd to avoid drawing attention. She trades quietly, always watching for police or informers, knowing that a single mistake could mean punishment or worse. The money she earns means her children can eat a little more that night, and she can buy medicine if they fall ill. For her, the market is not just a place, it's hope, a fragile promise that tomorrow might be a little better. Children learn early how to bargain and hide, picking up survival skills as soon as they can walk, helping their families in small but vital ways. Teenagers swap USB sticks filled with forbidden South Korean dramas for food or clothes, risking harsh punishment for a glimpse of another world. Even the elderly join in, selling herbal remedies or homemade snacks, contributing what they can to keep their families afloat. The black market is woven into every age, every family. It is the thread that binds ordinary lives together in the face of extraordinary hardship. The government's attitude toward the black market is, well, pretty complex. On one hand, police raid illegal traders. Punishments can be harsh, fines, beatings, or even prison. But on the other hand, the leadership profits quietly. Some markets pay fees to local officials for protection. There are even rumors that certain high-ranking families control entire smuggling networks. This double game keeps the market in a strange sort of balance. Crackdowns are real, but so are bribes and secret deals. Honestly, the government needs the market just as much as the people do. It fills gaps in the broken state system, bringing in goods and hard currency. Kim Jong Un's regime isn't blind to this reality. Sometimes it even relaxes controls to keep the peace. Too much pressure, and people might rebel. Too little, and the state loses its grip. In this shadowy dance, both sides survive. Barely. The black market offers a dizzying variety of goods. Food is always in demand. Rice, flour, meat, and even candy from China. Clothing is another staple, from cheap socks to fake designer jackets. Electronics, radios, mobile phones, and USB sticks are traded under the table, smuggled across the border. But the market's most prized goods are often forbidden. Foreign films and music slip in from China, packed onto memory cards. Medicines and vitamins, hard to find in state hospitals, fetch high prices. Even South Korean cosmetics find their way to Pyongyang's elite. Traders use secret codes and trusted go-betweens. Deals happen fast, in whispers. A wrong word can mean disaster, but the rewards are worth it. For some, trading is survival. For others, it's a chance to taste the outside world. Trading on the black market is dangerous. Police patrol the markets, arresting anyone caught with illegal goods. Punishments vary, from fines and public shaming to years in prison camps. Fear hangs over every transaction. No one is truly safe. Mrs. Kim remembers the day her friend was caught. She was taken away in a truck, hands tied, her stall destroyed. The next day, police warned others, follow the rules or suffer the same fate. Families live with this threat every day. Children grow up, knowing that a single mistake could ruin them. Some traders pay bribes to avoid trouble. Others trust in luck and quick reflexes. Mistakes are costly, but the need is greater than the risk. Even so, the shadow economy never stops. It adapts, shifts, survives. At dawn, the Jangmadang wakes. Vendors lay out their goods: fruit, dried fish, second-hand shoes, on old blankets. Buyers move in, faces hidden under hats, scanning for bargains and listening for warnings. Deals are quick, words few. Trust is everything. Children dart between stalls, carrying messages or scouting for police. Old men gossip in corners, trading news as valuable as rice. At sunset, the market folds up fast. In minutes, the square is empty, leaving no trace behind. Sometimes, the market shifts location overnight, always staying one step ahead of the authorities. It's a world of signals, secret meetings, and silent courage. For those who live it, the market is a test of wit and will. A place where every day is a gamble, and every meal a victory. The black market is no longer a secret in North Korea. It's the backbone of daily survival, quietly shaping society from below. For ordinary people, it offers choices, hope, and a glimpse of life outside the regime's control. For the leadership, it's both a threat and a lifeline, a force that challenges their power, yet props up their rule. As sanctions tighten and the state falters, the Jangmadang becomes more vital. It connects North Koreans to each other and to the world beyond their borders. It teaches resilience, creativity, and the price of freedom. In the shadows, a new North Korea is being built, one trade at a time. The future is uncertain, but as long as the black market thrives, hope survives. The Jangmadang is more than just commerce, it's the pulse of a nation determined to endure, no matter the odds.